Hello, hello.
Hi there.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, not too shabby as well. Let's
Where
see.
are you located, Ben? I can't remember.
Oh, I'm in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, whereabouts are you?
Santa Fe, New Mexico. So not too
Ah,
far
cool,
from you
cool.
guys.
Yeah, like right next door, basically.
Yeah, a nice small 14-hour drive or something like that.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, we'll wait a couple minutes for Andrea. I think he's attending. I didn't see anything in the channel.
Somebody updated the markdown, the meeting notes, so I'm assuming he's going to be here.
Okay, cool. Well, the markdown page will load for me. Uh,
So,
Hey, Andrea, can you hear us?
and here, amazing.
Can you hear us? We can hear you. Oh, Ben just dropped off.
Oh, I can hear now.
Yeah, here comes Ben back.
had to rejoin my whatever reason I wasn't able to load that markdown page, and then finally decided to start up there. Hey, Andrea.
Hey, Ben.
All right, cool.
So I know Emil at least is on PTO, so he won't be joining today.
Yeah, I have a
Hmm.
feeling we're going to get to that quiet period again during summer.
Yeah. Shall we get started then, the three of us?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
works for
yeah, I
me.
think so.
Okay. I guess I can share the agenda. All right. Well, since this is recorded, just a small short intro. Welcome everyone to the CD Events Implementation Working Group. Today is July the 9th, and share a link to the notes. And yeah, please sign yourself in. All right. So we had a couple of action items from last time. First, for me, create a GitHub repository. I put a link to this. And so in here, basically have what we discussed last time, based on the work that you've done, Steve, plus some minor comments we had during the meeting. So we double check these are the focus, and we have a member list. So we had also someone adding themselves as new member. We have a process how to join, governance, communications, and meetings. Hopefully that's fine.
Yeah, that all looks great.
Yeah, looks
Uh,
good to me. Thanks for doing that, Andrea. You did that like really quick too, so I was really happy to see that.
sure. And the meeting notes from HackND are synced back into here. So try to sync them after every meeting so we get the latest those notes there. And then draft requirements. That was for you, Steve.
Yep. So That's a go ahead, click on it. It's a Google Doc right now.
Yeah.
And I figured just start here in the Google Doc because it's a little bit easier for folks to all update it once, and then I'll convert it over to a Markdown and put it in that repo that you just created.
Cool. Do you want to? I had not had the chance to read through this.
Yeah, I just got it out there this morning, so nothing. It's pretty basic, so there's nothing earth-shattering in it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely take a read today. Yeah,
And
I haven't had a chance to look at it. What was I gonna say?
yeah, and you know, feel free, just go ahead and make changes to it. Don't worry about saying, you know, change this word and like an action to do thing. Just go ahead and update it directly, and we'll assume everybody's. We can look at the history if something doesn't make sense. But I'd rather do that
Cool,
and then
cool, cool.
have it, than rather getting a bunch of comments and then somebody have to go through and click approve and all the comments. Just makes too much work for the small of a group.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. Yeah, and thanks, Steve, for doing this. I really appreciate it. And then, hopefully, the proposal will come soon after, and then we can start thinking about the actual implementation.
Yeah, so this requirements doc is just around the message service. I still have to do some more requirements around how to produce what's needed on the producing side of the events. So, for example, on the Jenkins side, I believe there may be a Jenkins plugin to start producing, events from Jenkins, but that stuff is things that we need to look at, and I kind of break it down that kind of world into two pieces: an active publishing of event and a passive publishing event. What I mean by that, active would be enabling a Jenkins plugin to start having Jenkins publish events. That would be an active one. A passive one would be where we're going to monitor the Jenkins server for when workflows kick off. And we're not going to have anybody enable anything on the Jenkins server. So that's kind of like a passive type of way to start creating events. So that document's a little more complicated. So I just wanted to get the first message service out there.
Cool, cool. All right. Yeah, thanks for sharing the semantics there. So I'll definitely take it. Do you define what passive means in that doc, or do I have to kind of remember that?
That'll be in a separate doc. So this
Okay,
is like I
gotcha,
said,
gotcha.
this is just around the message service. And one thing I just realized that we should probably add to the requirements doc that we probably want to make this solution for both the open source world and if somebody wants to use it internally. I didn't really call that out in that doc. I'll add that.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, I think that should be good.
Yeah.
Definitely a good addition.
Yeah, I think it would be good to have like higher level like use case identified.
Yeah,
Or
there's a section down there, number 4, uh, where we need to do some diagrams and build out specific use cases. So that will, if anybody has some use cases in mind, let's definitely start getting those written down.
Sure, but I think these are use cases for the messaging system.
Right.
I was thinking like overall use case that we want to solve, like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
we want for an open source project to be able to
Yeah.
publish events about their pipeline, CI pipeline, so that we can trigger additional checks
Yeah.
something like that. And and the other could be, we want to use CD events within an enterprise or organization so that you can collect evidence about your CI/CD system or those kind of
Yeah,
things.
I
Maybe you
think
have like one or
uh,
two of those. Yeah.
yeah, I'm wondering if it would make sense to kind of do. I don't know if I'd hate to get all these like a lot of little documents instead of one more comprehensive one. Um, I'm wondering if we could somehow work that into the beginning of this document, maybe in the introduction or somewhere up there, or something. Add something between introduction and overall description about some maybe like the problem or use cases that we're trying to solve, like you said, Andrea.
Mm.
I don't know. What do you guys think about where to add that stuff?
Yeah, or since you said you were going to have another document already, maybe we could have like a root document where we have like the introduction, architecture, and so forth,
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
and then
Yeah,
link, to the component specific
yeah,
documents, like the one that you wrote for the
yeah,
messaging part. So,
yeah. That'll
okay.
work. That'll be a nice format. So we have the um, overall document and with basically a fancy table of contents.
Okay. Well, I can certainly set that up. I mean, if you want to stick to Markdown as a and result, I can set that up as a Markdown document into
Yeah,
the repo.
yeah. Go ahead,
Um,
and do that, and then I'll go ahead and convert this document to a markdown in the repo and do that. Tie the two together.
cool. All right. Okay, so I think we have some actions here. So I mean, for myself and Ben to go and review the work that you've done so far. So I will set up kind of the root TOC document. Um, and cool. Yeah. So I had some guess a question what we want to achieve in the upcoming meetings, and I guess that already answers part of that.
Yeah,
Um, uh,
I think if we just focus on getting, like you said, getting the root document in place and a couple of the use cases, and then I will get the requirements, this initial requirements draft over. I think that's plenty on our plate to get started.
cool. All right. Yeah, so for the initial document, I guess some use cases, and maybe I can put one or two, and then we can iterate and add them more.
Yep.
I guess it would be nice to have some diagram of what the components are, what it will look like. And again, we can start with just very simple and small and iterate on that, and I'm happy to give it a go.
Yeah, I would
Um,
say on that diagram we do something in Mermaid in the markdown. So
um,
Mermaid
yeah.
JS Mermaid JS is pretty simple to make those diagrams.
Yeah, I can try that. Yeah, I guess at some point, but that's maybe further in the future, from the implementation side, if it'd be good to, starting setting up some infra. I was thinking maybe it's Terraform or it could be Ansible, depending what people think. So we can start to use that to plug in the components that we want to plug in as they are implemented, so
Yep.
that it's easy to replicate things. And eventually we could have a live instance kind of a team playground where we can see things
Yeah.
running together.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Right. And so we have a few more things. So I've been working on the Golang SDK, and I wanted to quickly show how it looks like now. And then I think, Ben, you've added a few more things. So would it be okay for me to give a quick overview of what it looks like to create a custom event with the Golang
Yeah,
SDK?
please.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Right, so it's not a fancy demo, it's just finished implementing it today. But what I tried to do, I added this docs folder into the SDK. And then, yeah, so where basically the idea is to have several specific scenarios. And the first one I created is like how to create a custom CD event. And then in the examples folder, I got the complete Go code for that. And so this is what it looks like. So if I want to create a custom events, it means that I want to create an event for which there is no corresponding existing one in the CD event spec. And in this case, I'm considering the tool is a registry, container registry, and the subject is the quota. So I imagine the tool could have something like this, ghost struct with quota with some fields, limit, user, threshold, level, and so forth. And so how do I go about creating the event? So, okay, this needs to be aligned, but this is the import that I need. So the first thing I need to create an event type and define what the subject, predicate, version, and custom look like. So subject, predicate, and version is the same as for CD event. Custom is the name of the tool, in this case, my registry. And so once I have the type, I can then define an instance with certain values. Then from CD events 4, create a new custom event type and set the event type. And that gives me the basis. Then I can set things like the subject ID, the source, and then the subject content. So the subject content is my generic struct here. So I could put anything in here. So this accept interface, so a generic object. But it must be something that can be marshaled into JSON. And if I have a schema for that, I could set it here. And that's basically it. So that's all you need to, create a custom event. And then if you want to render it as JSON, you can use the JSON string API, the same as for regular events, which turns it into something like this. And you can see the type here is a dev CD event X, my registry dash quota, so the tool dash the subject exceeded. And then you get in the subject content, kind of the custom stuff there. And this is how to send it as a cloud event. And again, this is identical to what it looked like for regular events. And let me show you. And the code altogether is here. It's a small example, but it's basically the same thing, creating the CD event. Yeah, and I use SME.io to just create like a sync on the fly so that I can actually send the cloud event here. And if I run it here, let's see, sorry. And docs, examples, and do go run custom. Sorry, and what it does, it's yeah, it's creating the event and it's also sending it. And maybe what I could do, I could quickly not maintain good. Oh, sorry, that was not right. Yeah, that's the SME channel. But if I open it afterwards, I cannot see. Okay, never mind. I just wanted to show what's in the channel. I guess I could create an SME channel first. And use it in here instead. Yes. And then if I run it and go back to my browser, I can see that the CD event was actually sent to this channel. Yeah.
Nice.
That's it.
Cool, cool. And then is this is not a PR yet though, right?
It was a PR, but it's actually already
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
merged.
Okay, that's what I was wondering because I remember seeing it, so I wasn't sure if it was merged yet or not. Okay, cool, yeah. But I like the demo. It looked pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So if you have comments on the API, is that something? Does it feel like something reasonable for
I,
creating custom events? Is that what you would expect?
that's what I thought it would. Your implementation is exactly what I thought how it would work. So I think you're spot on that.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't see any issues with it. And like I think once we start playing around with it and people start playing around with it, obviously there might be some improvements we can make. But I think right out of the box, I think this looks good.
Now
Okay.
the one suggestion I think we should do is with the whoever does the like the Java SDK should do the exact same example in Java. So that way you have we're not jumping around with examples, and you can follow. If you're in Rust, this is what it's going to look like for this custom event, and because a lot of people will understand one language really good and not another language as well, but they can go have the reference between the different languages. So that would be the one thing I would say is that when we do these examples, that we're just consistent across all, using the same example for all SDKs. Does that make
That
sense?
makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other thing is more of a question. Um, is there something like Open API or Swagger for cloud events? Um, like with Swagger, you can basically from your code you can define what your REST API endpoints look like, and you have that whole interface, the Swagger UI, to be able to look at the documentation around that. Do you guys
So
know if that
not
exists for
for
PubSub?
not for cloud events directly, but they do have protobuf, which kind of like by just by having protobuf, you kind of have that in general. But they don't have like a higher level abstraction for every single wire protocol.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if there's like just a documentation framework for PubSub or cloud events.
Not that
For
I'm aware of, at least.
So this is for the only one that I know for like event-driven architectures. I've not used it, but some folks from Async API, I think they came to the CD event working group at some point to show this. And I think this is similar in a way to Open API, but for event-based as opposed to REST-based interfaces.
Uh,
Um,
can you drop that link in the either the read in the chat or in the README? I mean, in the meeting minutes.
yeah.
It's just handy when we have a consistent.
Yeah, I think we even have an issue for someone to look deeper into this and see if that's something we could use. Um, so if you want to have a look into this,
Yeah,
um,
I'll check out this async one.
and anything we can use to improve how we maintain and generate our documentation and yeah, everything that we do basically, it's for sure. If we can have something that already exists that allows us to make a very nice documentation, easy to use, and so
Yeah,
by all means. Right. Cool. Yeah, thanks for the feedback on the SDK stuff. I guess aligning with the other SDK was exactly one of the goals for trying to surface what I'm doing on the Go SDK. So I'll reach out to Jalander on the Java side and David on the Rust side. The Python one is currently unmaintained as far as I know. But yeah, to to show them the example and see if they can do something similar on their side. All right. I think Ben, the remaining items are all yours. Do you want to
Yeah. So
cover?
I'm gonna do this really fast because my dog is going crazy. I'm about to lose my damn mind. So I'm just really quick. So I'm just reviewing two PRs from Jolander, which is that Jira RFC. I think he's answered like most of my it was mostly just like formatting. And I still need to review his Java SDK, actually there's another PR too. His Garrett trades. So there's actually two PRs I need to, or three with the RFC included. So but yeah, with the Java SDK, I'm like halfway through it. It was just bigger than what I originally suspected. Um, and then the GRRFC, it's just I'm just doing one last look through, and that'll probably be done as well today. And then the last one is the biggest one is like I'm starting the links issue. So I moved that to the working group repo. Originally, I was gonna have it in the SDKs, but I moved it. I thought it was better appropriate for the implementations repo. That way, all the SDKs can just reference it, so it's just in one place. So I'll have that done probably not today, but probably tomorrow because it's quite large.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're okay. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna drop. So sorry, folks, but yeah, my dog was he's going nuts. The lawnmower guy like showed up and like he just went crazy. So
No
I'll talk to you
problem.
guys later. All right,
Yeah.
bye everyone.
Yeah.
Bye. All right. Shall
I
we cut it short then?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't have anything else on my list, so I think we covered pretty much everything. So I think we're looking good.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I think this meetings are
Yeah, and
being productive. So yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and I think our next meeting I'm gonna be on holiday, so I probably won't be here, but I'll make sure I get all my action items done. So just to give you a heads up on that front.
Thanks. Yeah, I need to check the date. I might be away or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thanks a
All
lot.
right.
We'll
Thank
see you.
you. Bye.
Cheers.